Hello?
Hey, who? What's up?
Nothing, B. Just watching the game, having a bud. What's up with you?
Nothing. Watching the game, having a bud.
True.
What's up? Yo, who's that?
Yo, pick up the phone.
Hello? What's that? What's up?
Yo, where's Dookie?
Yo, Duke. Yo.
What's that?
What's that?
Hold on. Hello?
So what's up, B?
Watching the game, having a bud.
True.
Yo, what's up, everybody? So good to see y'all. Happy Sunday. What's up? Much love, guys. So today we got a dope guest. We're going to learn a lot about the music industry. We're going to learn about what it takes to work a record. We're going to know all kinds of different stuff from a guy that we don't really see too much on a personal tip. You know what I'm saying? So right now we want to bring in our guest right here for the day. I want y'all to welcome Sonny D.
Insert hi here.
Yes. What is up, brother? What's up?
What's up?
Welcome in. Thank you so much for doing this with me. The chat is lit, man. They came to see you, bro.
I appreciate it. What's good, y'all? How's everybody doing out there? Happy Sunday. Cheers. Yes.
Yeah, before we get started, let's have a cheers. Shout out to each and every one of y'all. Thank you, guys. Get well vibes for Rich 72 in Germany. And thank you, Sonny D. Cheers to you, bro. Cheers, man.
Cheers, jay.byrd. Thank you, brother. What are you drinking over there, by the way? Let them know.
Yeah, this is tequila with a splash of ginger ale. So
Just
literally
a splash.
Literally a splash is crazy.
Little splash.
So let me get into it with you right away. Oh yes.
What are we doing?
You drink in the dark. That's right. Always drink in the dark right there.
The 18-year-old Glenlivet single malt scotch. I was drinking this earlier on my Lucky Sunday 12 o'clock stream. So we already in the bag. Come on.
So
Cheers.
fancy. I love it. So on your IG, I put your IG, by the way, and Twitch in it's going to be coming up every 5 minutes or so they can follow you on. But it has the numbers 510. So that gives me the question: are you from the Bay Area originally?
Yee! You already know, man. 510. Salute to Oakland. I grew up in the Bay Area, like been all around, but Oakland's like where I spent like my teenage and early adult years. So that always felt like home. And it was always like the constant. My dad used to move us around like every 4 years. So we moved around a lot, primarily like in the East Bay and then Northern Cali to finish. But my mom had a restaurant in Oakland for like 25 years. So for me, ever since I was a young kid, I would spend, probably about a quarter of the year there, between summer vacation and Christmas time break and, Easter and all that kind of stuff. So for me, it's like the one spot that I always called home, like I was able to like really root there and get beat up there and get my ass kicked on the BART train and the buses. And, it's where I took my first licks at, I
was going to say, Oakland is rough. Like Oakland is rough.
I was in a nice part of Oakland. Fortunately, West Oakland. I was actually on the waterfront, which sounds hella bougie, but if you know Oakland, it ain't really like bougie like that. But I was on the Embarcadero Cove there, West Oakland near Lake Merritt. So shout out to anybody from the Bay if you're familiar.
So we did a West Coast meetup. My guy DJ Twin Spin had put it together, and now it's morphed into some other people that put it on. But the place was at Plank in Oakland. I don't know if you're familiar with Plank. What's that area called? It's like I forgot what kind of town center it is, but it's right there on the water too.
Oh, probably Jack London Square, which was actually about a quarter mile south of where my mom's restaurant was. Yeah, perfect.
Jack London Square. That's exactly it. So thank you.
There
Yeah.
you go. Small world, man. Shout out to Twin Spin. I think Twin Spin, if memory serves, Jay.Byrd, is from Sonoma County, right? Like 707, Santa Rosa-ish area, if memory serves.
I'm not too sure. I couldn't speak on it because I don't know. Yeah, I just know he's claiming Bay. So, and he
I
put
love
together a nice event. And
So-
yeah, so we got to experience Jack London Square and Plank, and then the chicken and waffles place right across the street after the event was done. We all want to know, like, how old is Sonny D? And because I'm the one that clowns, right? I'm the one that says, Sonny D is the guy that was when Russell Simmons and Rick Rubin were in the apartment starting Def
was
Jam.
there. Yeah.
Sonny D was there asking to work that LL Cool J radio album.
Yeah, it's funny, man. You bring up the age and birthday. Matter of fact, this is actually my birthday week that we're entering into. I'll be 49 on Friday, the 27th.
Yo, happy flocking birthday, bro. I didn't even know that. I had no idea.
Thank you, bro.
That is dope. 49? Bro, you look
49, man. 49 on Friday.
Bro, you look like 25, man. Jeez.
I'll take it. It's the Asian genes, man. I'm half Thai. So it's working in my favor.
Yeah, shout to Thai fried rice and Thai iced coffee. That's
there you go.
So I definitely got to ask, because our journeys always take us like different places as people in the music industry, and it's a tough business. But how did you happen to get into the music business and working like the records? Is that how you started working records?
I actually entered in through doing what I'm doing recently on Twitch with y'all, which is DJing. And through that, I met a lot of people who actually were doing what I do now. And that's how I first like got interested in it, got an internship from it. But yeah, originally in the Bay, I started off like DJing like in 95 officially is like when I got like my first 1200s, when I could save up to get them. Before that, I had some whack ass like direct drive Gemini turntables, which you probably remember. And I actually ordered it from the back of like, it was either like a DJ Times mag or Source magazine, and it was from like Brooklyn. And anyways, yeah, it's all I could afford at the time. But anyways, yeah, I started in 95 as a local club DJ around there, doing venues and such. And then I got involved in college radio when I went to school in Santa Barbara a couple of years later. And when I was doing college radio at 91.9 at UCSB, that's when I started meeting people behind the scenes in the industry, and I was trying to get serviced. You remember, Jay.Byrd, like before this digital age, like it was all about vinyl, you know?
Had to go to the record pool, had to join the record pool. Yeah.
Yeah, if you could afford it, like here's a nice pool. Coincidentally, speaking of Def Jam, classic wax right here. This is original Beastie Boys, Paul Revere 12-inch. So yeah, back when we were on vinyl, you know, we were trying to get service, right, Jay? So we would hit up the record labels and be like, yo, I'm DJing. Can you service me? AKA put me on your promo list, and that way we could get free records. So I went from begging to get on all these lists to being the guy who puts people on lists. So it's kind of funny, full circle.
Wow. Okay. So you serviced record pools too. Nice. That's part of working a record though, right?
Yeah, there's normally like street marketing guys. I was always involved in the radio aspect, but yeah, originally started doing like rhythm and urban mix show radio. And my first gig for that was at Capitol. But before that, I had worked in San Francisco at a publication named Gavin Magazine, which you're an OG. So you probably remember the Gavin seminars in San Francisco. So I was a national rap editor. That was actually my first music industry gig.
That's dope, man. I love that. I love that. So let's say, first of all, you brought up Capitol Records, and shout out to Capitol, which was my my label for Portrait.
Oh, get out of here, small world, man.
Yeah. So Joy Bailey was my A&R, and Scott Folks was vice president of the R&B department of Capitol Records, and they just they were so nice to us, you know. But they're nice to you in the forefront, and then on the check-in, you'd be like, what were they saying to me again? Where's the rest of that check at, man? Yeah.
Hey, It's like Tribe Called Quest said, y'all, industry rule number 4080.
Record
Jay
company people are shady.
Please believe
Yes.
it.
So let's just say like I'm signed to Def Jam. I'm dropping a single. What is it that Sonny D is going to do for my record that's going to help me get to the next level with my record?
I'm the guy behind the scenes the last 25 years. Like I've always done radio promo at the labels, various labels, most recently Def Jam. I'm the guy that gets you on the radio, essentially.
Okay.
So I'm the dude that's like planting seeds with radio disc jockeys, DJs, on-air personalities, program directors, social media content directors, influencers there, producers, etc. And our job is to just amplify what you have going on terrestrial radio and now digital radio, satellite radio, and now podcasts, which is a new thing that a lot of labels are starting to focus their attention on.
Right. Exactly. Man, so do you have to like, because there was always this rumor of the payola thing for the radio to get records on.
Oh, it's no real. It's actual fact. That's what it's all about, man. If you've got money, you can move the needle. It takes a lot of money to move that needle. A lot.
Right. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna tell you the funniest story because I'm gonna show you how important radio used to be. Right now, like you just said, there's so many different avenues. So the regular radio is not as important as it used to be, but it's still a tool. So
right. Yes.
So we're talking about record pools, and when you're in a record pool as a DJ, you get your record like before the public hears it most of the time. Now, sometimes it works reverse. Like I remember when Hypnotize and Going Back to Cali, they dropped at the same time, and everyone was at the record pool being, I need that, right? But so with Belle Biv DeVoe, my boys, they had dropped Poison. I didn't even know they broke off from New Edition and started their own project. And I go to the record pool and I see in my box, I'm like, Belle Biv DeVoe, where's the rest of them? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And usually I pick up my records on Friday because I spend Friday night at the club. And I put this record on when I got home and I was just like, this is going to be a smash. Like you just heard it right away.
Right.
So I couldn't wait to get to the club. And, when you're doing new music, you have to strategically do it. You got to get them. So you got to have the club, the floor packed, and you have them, and then you can mix it whatever you want.
Right.
So I played. So I had it going. Like it was the right time. It was the perfect time. I played Poison, cleared the dance floor.
No way. When it first came out.
So nobody ever heard it. Like it's not on the radio. It's not on the radio. It's new. It's in my box of records. And I couldn't wait to drop it on everybody. Cleared the dance floor.
Damn.
That week. So that week they started playing it on the radio, like heavily. They're playing, and then the next week I went back to the club, played it again, and everyone is like, screams when the song comes on. You know what I'm saying? That's how influential. Yeah. That's how influential the radio was.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So you are really out there helping artists like take it from just because we didn't have social media, right? So just to that next level. So there was no social media then.
Yeah, it's definitely changed, man. Like back then, dudes like me at the labels, like you wanted us to be your best friends because, if you had us in pocket and we were getting you on the radio, like you were gone. Like that right there, getting on the radio is like what got you out there. It was the main medium and source. That's how people discovered music. Were from DJs like yourself, whether in the club and especially on the radio. I mean, even to this day, even though radio is not as influential as important because it's not the only medium, right?
Right.
There's not an artist that you'll ever meet, ever, that will tell you like they don't want to hear their record on the radio. That'll just never
absolutely.
Everybody wants to be, in their car or at their crib and be able to turn it on and be like, oh shit, I made it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like between that and late night television, like those are like the two final frontiers for any artist or talent is to hear yourself on the radio, to see yourself on TV, and that'll never change, man. Even for these new youngins, like I have this kid that I was working with this past like 6 months named Jadon, signed to LA Reid. He was only 17. And even he wanted to be on the radio. You know what I mean? Even though he doesn't listen to the radio, you know what I mean, himself. So it holds true still.
Yeah, you know, when you see all like the, I don't want to say documentaries, but the movies about like, you know, about the whatever journey of the artist.
Right.
When the first time when they hear their song on the radio, they're either like getting out of their car and dancing, or it's a big deal.
I mean, do you remember the first time you heard like the records that you were part of on the radio, including like portrait artists?
First time I heard "Here We Go Again" on the radio, man, we were going crazy.
Right,
we were going crazy. Yeah,
yeah, it's really special, man. I mean, it's as special as getting like a shout out, you know, on the radio, even as a listener. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It still carries weight, man. It'll always be special, and there's nothing that feels like that. And then by that same token, for a music executive like myself to be with those artists or with those camps or management camps or family members, mothers, fathers, you know, cousins, whoever's around when that moment happens, like to witness that, dude, is also equally special. It feels good, man. Feels good, like Tony said.
Yeah. It's like you're the proud uncle, man. You're the proud uncle.
It's something. It's definitely something.
Oh, glasses are on. He's getting serious, ladies and gentlemen.
No, man, you know, I want, you know, you're setting the vibe here. Like Jay.Byrd got the glasses on, man. I want to, you know what I'm saying? I want to get the tone. You know what I'm saying? It's all about matching tempo.
BPMs,
you know,
even in the Oddcast.
Right now, man, we had 100 BPM right now, you know? Shout out to Poison 108.
Right.
Real DJs know.
Between 108 and 110, depending on, yeah.
Right in there.
I used to, so in my crates, I used to put my records in crates by BPM order. But I've seen other people put it by like alphabetical order. I'm like, how do you even know? Like, you just know in your head, like what you want to play next.
I guess, yeah.
But yeah, I would sit there for hours. Like I would always take the one record that I knew for sure. I put it on 0. And it wouldn't always be right, but as long as you're in the ballpark, you hear it with your ears anyway.
Yeah.
And then you're not trying to match it exactly on your record. Either you're a guy that wants the new record a little faster and you slow it down by putting your finger on it, or you want to be the guy that puts the new record on a little bit slower and you know you have to kind of speed it up. So, but if you try to match exactly, that's where you kind of get messed up, because then you lose what you were supposed, like, I don't know, faster, slower, you know.
Yep.
That's the little trick. That's the little trick. Yeah.
Right. Like even now that we have digital crates, right, Jay.Byrd? Like we see sometimes it'll be like, you know, say it is like 110, it might be like 110.216, you know, so it's not, you know, and then it scales up or down. It'll, you know, so it's different. But yeah, man, the DJ craft has changed so much over the last, 20 years, man, trip.
We can definitely get into this because this is also controversial for me too.
Yeah.
So I'd love to hear your opinion on, all right, so first of all, the technology has changed the game, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Technology has allowed people to become DJs that otherwise would never even think about being a DJ.
Oh yeah.
If they just had 2 turntables and a mixer and they had to go out and buy physical records, they're not going to go be a DJ. They're going to go find something else to do.
Oh yeah.
You know,
it was off limits because what was the golden rule back in the day, man, when we were coming up, like say even, you're a little bit older than me, I think, right, Jay? I won't ask you your age unless you want to put that out there, but
no problem. I'm 56, bro.
Boom. There you go. So Jay's been doing this since the 80s, right? I've been doing it since the 90s. In the 80s and 90s, I only say that to say this, which is like in the 80s and 90s, it's like, you could only play what, Jay? What you had in your crate. If you didn't own it, you couldn't play it. So, and there was no digital technology in the 80s. And, even in the early 90s, it was still kind of new. So it's like, and we weren't able to like burn CDs and rip shit. Definitely the digital era didn't exist. So it's like, if you wanted to play Slick Rick, and Dougie Fresh the Show, you could only play it if you had it on wax.
Right. And not only if you have it, but if you brought it too.
So yeah, you ain't bringing your whole collection.
Right, exactly. So you're setting the vibe of a club like in your house before you even get to the club
Oh yeah, a lot
because
of
you're
prep.
picking out the records. You're picking out the records that you're bringing.
You
Where
can only pick
now, right? I don't want to bring 25 crates to a gig. Like
no, you want to
I
bring
did,
two.
I would do 4 or 5 actually because I was just so paranoid.
Right.
I was
Yeah,
so
me too. I would bring a big anvil, like with 150
right,
joints in it. And that motherfucker
right,
was heavy. You had the dolly, you remember that? And back then, you
yeah,
didn't bring just the laptop. You had to bring like the turntables and the mixer,
right,
maybe even the speakers and the amplifier. Ooh, it was expensive.
yeah. The coffin, they didn't have the anvil cases. They had the coffin.
Oh man, talk about backbreakers back then, man. We was getting our
Yeah.
weights.
It was a two-person setup. I definitely always had to call someone to help me when I had a mobile gig for
Oh
sure.
man, remember double parking out in front of a venue? We're behind it, like parking lights on, hoping that the cops didn't pull up or the traffic agent didn't pull up.
Right, exactly. Oh my goodness.
Tickets.
And
Oh Lord,
yeah, but
what a
yeah, it's definitely different now. You got the self-powered speakers, so you don't need bring amplifiers.
yeah.
You bring your laptop, so now you actually bring your whole collection of music with you to a gig, as opposed to setting the vibe. Now you do make folders that you do go into during your gig, but
Yes.
sometimes oh I'm gonna rock this tonight, and then your crowd is vibing to something totally different. So,
Right.
but
Yeah.
but you could do that because you have your whole music collection.
Now, yeah, now you can. Yeah. That was fun back
Right,
in the day, man. It's
right.
that era of DJing, dude, and other, older DJs that did the analog shit can relate. Like, man, if you were there for it, like it was special, Like even in this moment, it's special thinking about it, that experience. Woo.
To Totally special, and now we're spoiled, and now I'm like, "How did we do it? Like, how did we do it back in the day?" Because we're
Ah,
spoiled. Yeah.
right? Man. You still have all your vinyl, Jay Bird?
I have a lot of vinyl still. Yeah, I still have a lot of vinyl.
Let's go.
And that's why I love, the Pioneer Cross 12s, as we get into geek talk.
Yeah.
Um, the Pioneer Cross 12s, they have a clamp, and the clamp acts as either like a phase, like you would put the phase in the middle of the
Oh.
turntable, or it acts like the Rain 12. What the Rain 12 also got that little thing in the middle. But the
Oh.
clamp on the Cross 12s, if you got like some vinyl, maybe it was sitting in the sun, maybe it's a little warped.
Oh. It
The
flattens it.
clamp, it flattens out your vinyl.
No way. I've never used it,
Yeah.
obviously, but is that what you use on your streams, by the way, when you're spinning?
I I love the Cross 12s, yeah. I put my
Those, like,
1200s away. Yeah, 1200s put away, and I use the Cross 12s, man.
that's fire.
Yeah. But I do have, like I have a controller for when I do mobile gigs, but it doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel the same to me.
Yeah, but it gets it done, right? And
But
with a lot less work.
it gets the job done with a lot less work. Work smarter, not harder.
Love that,
So,
man. When did
yeah.
hey guys, obviously I'm a guest on Jay Bird's That's What's Up podcast today, and he's interviewing me, but like I want to get to know Jay Bird as well too. So I hope y'all just like bear with me. Like I just want to kick it with my boy. If you're here for it, God bless you. But like I want to get to know you too, JB. So it's like
Huh?
what's your journey like? Where are you from? When did you start? How did you get into it? What was your first gig? And I want to hear about your first time DJing, however bad it might have been or scary it might have been.
Right. Okay. Well, originally I'm from Flushing, New York. I got wait. Yeah. I don't know if you can see it, but I got the Brooklyn Bridge right there.
Love
My
it.
dad's from Brooklyn. My family's from Brooklyn. I was born in Flushing, Queens, and we came out to LA when I was very young. Like when Neil Diamond is singing "I Am I Said," when he said palm trees grow and rents are low, like
Ah,
that time, what I'm saying? Because rents ain't low no more. So
they're not.
right. So as far as my journey, so like I got like a two-part story to my journey. So in high school, I was an athlete. I played baseball and basketball, and like a serious athlete. And every Tuesday night, I'd go to this park, and because they're all like real good hoopers would be there, and you get good runs, and you want to play with people that are better than you. You don't want to play people that you're better at all the time. How you gonna get better, right? Just like
Right.
DJing. You don't want
Right.
to DJ. Like I DJ with Icy Ice all the time. So I don't know. I got to step my game up. I got to get better. So,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yep.
And so anyway, so I'm at this park and there's only two of us warming up. It's like really weird because Tuesday is the night. All of a sudden, all these nice cars come up. And when I mean nice cars back in the day, this is like 86. So it's like, Nissan 300ZX, Range Rover is brand new. So Range Rovers, it wasn't like Rolls Royces, but it was like, nice cars. And then I see like a bunch of people walking up. And who's walking up? It's gonna blow your mind, Sonny D. It's gonna blow your mind, bro.
Who is this?
Ricky Bell, Michael
Ah!
Bivins, Ronnie DeVoe, Ralph Tresvant, Jam Master Jay, LL Cool J, and
What?
Lusky, who's like the tall dancer, on Soul Train. They all came up, and I'm a junior in high school. And this is my first interaction ever with like famous people. And it's like an overload at one time. It's like, what I'm saying? So I'm warming up like real hard. Like I'll do a layup and smack the backboard. I can't dunk, but I'll smack the backboard. I'm shooting threes left and right. And I tell Ronnie DeVoe this every time. Like he changed my life forever. So because I wanted to play. So Ricky Bell was the captain, and Ronnie DeVoe is tapping Ricky Bell on the shoulder after they pick each other, because they're picking each other first, of course.
Of course.
Right.
Shout out to Boston.
Right. And so he taps Ricky Bell on the shoulder. It's like, yo, pick him. He can ball. And he points at me. And I was like, yo. So that night I went head up against Michael Bivins and Jam Master Jay all night. And I was just balling them. And I got their respect. Like afterwards, they're like, yo, kid, like you could ball, man. Like much respect. And to get that from Jam Master Jay too. And it became a every Tuesday thing, because what had happened, it was the time when they just kicked Bobby Brown out the group. And Johnny Gill hadn't quite entered the situation. But still they were out in LA making the Any Heartbreak album. That's why they were in LA. So every Tuesday, that was the ball spot. And then the word just got out. The word got out every Tuesday. So for like the first month, it was cool. Like I get in, but then it just became like way too much. So I kind of stopped going because it was too many people.
Right. But
I knew like then and there, like that night, I was like, I want to be a part of this. I don't know how, but I want to be a part of this. And I'd already been collecting records. Like I'm in high school. I have like the tower set up. So you got the turntable on top, you got the double cassette below that, you got the tuner below that. And so I collected like records. I had 2 It's Time records. I didn't even have 2 It's Time, like 2 turntables. So like my boy, I don't even know who brought over the turntables, but I'm still a junior in high school. And he was like, yo, man, you got those It's Time records? It's like, I got some turntables over here. And it was a couple turntables, and it was the little Radio Shack mixer. Like everyone talks about the realistic.
Mixer. Yep.
It was the realistic mixer. Yeah, with the crossfade. It was like the first one with the crossfader.
Well, I know. Where do I know? Shout out to DJ Malachi in the Bay.
Yeah. And bro, like for 4 hours, like just It's Time for 4 hours. Like I was so hooked.
Right.
I was so hooked. And then his dad came in and kicked me out of the house. It's like, yo, bro, it's late. You got to go. Like, we got to live adult lives, right?
That's funny, bro. That is funny, man. Yeah, because you're in that age bracket, bro, where like the OGs, as you know, in the industry, everybody's kind of like 5 to 10 years behind one another as far as the different eras, right? And so you came up in the era that I grew up listening to, including Portrait. And I know you tour DJ for other groups as well too, but it's like, I was right behind you, pause, but like you were doing it while I was developing my love for it, which is really cool for guys in your bracket, like 10 years ahead of me. So dope, dude.
And I got some questions for you about how you got caught up in some music. Yeah. Well, I'll finish my story real quick because you asked me about my first gig.
Yes, sir.
So I had a friend of mine. He was like, yo, my uncle lives in Las Vegas. We're going to rent a hall. We're going to throw a party. He's going to promote it. I got a DJ from Harlem coming out. And I was like, oh, it all sounded good, man. It was like,
Right.
I was like, let's do this, right? So we went and we looked at the hall. We rented out the hall, like we all split it. And then this DJ from Harlem, he comes out, and I was like, yo, so what kind of equipment you got? He was like, yo, man, I don't got no equipment. I'm like, what? How we going to DJ to the hall? Like, so at the time, like, like I was a hustler. I ain't gonna lie. Like I was out in the streets hustling, getting money, and I was very good at it. And so I went out and I bought 2 Technique 1200s.
Oh,
I bought
balling.
I
God
bought
damn.
I bought the Newmark mixer. So it's the long Newmark mixer with the 1 bar sampler on the side of it, right? Bought the coffin, bought 2 Serwin Vega 15-inch speakers,
My Lord.
and I took it, and then again, I never left my house. Once I got that, I never left my house. I was so addicted to rocking the turntables, but I didn't know the art of DJing. I would just cut and put it in, put it in, right?
Yeah, some New York shit, actually. Right.
Right. That's actually New York style. Yeah, they
Yeah.
don't do the long blends in New York. They'll look at you funny. Yeah,
Yeah.
Sister Bird,
You know we
Sister
got time
Bird,
for
and the shit. So I took the stuff to Vegas. I set it up. I have my records too. I had all my records that I collected. Say, you know what? I'm DJing this party. You're not even gonna, because I felt like, wait, you just gonna have no records and no equipment? You think you're gonna come on and DJ? Hell no. I bought all
Right.
this stuff. So I DJ'd the whole party the whole night. And that was my very first time DJing for people.
That's amazing.
And I
That's
was
a
just, like I said, I was just cutting in records. I wasn't even like, I was probably screwing up the dance floor, like, not knowing, I didn't know what beats permitted was or anything.
Right.
And
Oh,
then
so you were just like playing whatever you was feeling at the moment.
right. But luckily the music was pretty close at the time. It's JJ Fad, it's Push It. The only
Oh,
thing was, I remember Rob Bass, It Takes Two was very recently came out. And that was like, that's 112 as opposed to
Right.
like Push It's like 130.
Yeah.
But I didn't care. Like I'm going, hit it, hit it, hit it. I didn't even care about the dance floor, right? Hit it, hit it.
Right. Man, it's the growing pains, bro. That's how we learn.
Right. So
But still a
So,
badass record, though, regardless.
yeah. Oh man. To this day, I love that record.
Hell
And so I joined a fraternity. I went to college. I was a founding father of a fraternity. And I had all the DJ equipment. So they're like, oh, we're bringing this guy in, And there was another DJ in the fraternity. He's the one who's like, yo, that you could play 2 records together and make them sound like one. I was like, what? I was blown away by that statement. I was
Right.
totally blown away. I had no clue. He was like, yeah, you got to match what's called the beats per minute. And he taught me everything about beats per minute. And then again, I never left my room because I was so addicted to making 2 records sound like one.
Right.
I was like, that was the greatest thing ever. And
What was
then,
the
and
first 2 records you mixed successfully that you were like, oh shit?
I couldn't even tell you. I really couldn't. I wish I could tell you that. I wish I could just even make it up. Like, but it wouldn't even be fair to people just to make up something. I really don't remember the 2 records I played, but like I was really on the breakdown. I'm sure it was something like, maybe Jam on It and like something like that. I was really on that kind of stuff. The Jam on It's and the breakdance and stuff, the Electric Kingdom, the
Right.
Egypt, all that kind of stuff. So I probably mixed 2 of those records together. And then again, I didn't even learn about taking the bass out of one while you mixing 2 records together. I didn't even know about taking the bass out until way later.
Yeah.
But I was just so happy.
Yep.
Yeah. So that is my story. I'll stick by it. That's my story.
Bravo, man. Bravo. I love that.
Thank you. How about you? First gig, first time playing for people. How did you get there?
First 2 records I ever successfully blended together was in '94, actually. And that was Mad Lions Take It Easy and on Nervous Records, and Nine's What You Want on Profile Records. And man, that was a magical moment for me, man, when I was able to put like the acapella from one over the other and vice versa. And man, I was in the dormitory actually when that happened. Had my coffin. my shitty Gemini turntables, like I told you. That's the funny thing is like if you could learn to DJ on direct drive turntables back then, like those shitty Geminis, man, you can learn to mix anything. So when I got 1200s, it was a blessing. But those were the first 2 records ever. 9, What You Want, Mad Lion, Take It Easy. And the first time I ever DJ'd was actually at a college frat party in Berkeley for UC Berkeley. It's when I was living in Oakland. I wasn't going to UC Berkeley because I was not that smart. I couldn't get in. At least not year 1. I would have had to been a transfer student. But I was DJing next to UC Berkeley, near Telegraph, actually, at a frat party. Man, I brought my records with me, as we used to do. You can relate to this. Man, I was just fucking bugging, like, you know, badgering the shit out of the kid who was throwing it, like, yo, let me get on, let me just get 20 minutes, you know, let me get 10 minutes, I'll play 10 records in 10 minutes. You know, I was that bugaboo DJ that nobody fucking likes and just begging to get on, you know. And the dude let me jumped on. And I think the first record I played actually was Rappin' Forte. Again, we're in the Bay Area. First record I played was Players Ball, right? Yep.
Yeah, Players Ball. Yep.
Was it Players Ball? Yeah. At the Players Club.
Players Club. Yeah.
It was Players Club, Rappin' Forte. Then I played like some Gangstar Mass Appeal and shit. And I probably fucked up the crowd too, just like you said, like, you know, nothing, you know, we didn't know. We were just playing what we liked.
Right. And it's a frat party too. So frat parties, they want like Margaritaville and like
they want Poison and Bobby Brown.
Right.
And they don't want to get Mass Appeal, you know?
Right. But you know, we all, if you don't go through growing pains, then you're not gonna learn. You're not gonna learn anything. Yeah.
Yeah, so I got all of like 8 of those 10 minutes probably. And then my boys came up, they're like, yo, Sonny, you know, hands around the shoulders, like, yo, you can, boy.
Yeah, they're gonna pump you up. That's what your boys are there for. Yeah, they'll pump you up, man.
That was it. Men. Yes. Yeah.
We got our man Sonny D in the building, and we're learning about his journey in music. He's a DJ, he works for labels. He even sent me a promo package, and I appreciate that promo package.
Yes,
and
sir.
I see you got, and this is something I want to get into because my man Sonny D, I feel like is a hip hop head, because whenever you have like a choice to do something, you always revert to hip hop, and it's not even just like popular hip hop. You go like deep with it. It's like today on West Coast, you in the crates. Like today on West Coast Wednesday, I'm gonna play some underground stuff you might not have heard of, but I hope you enjoy it. You know, it's like you teach.
Yeah.
So for me, I always ask everybody this.
Hey.
What was the first rap or hip hop record that got you hooked? And also 2-part question, but also what was the first rap record that you loved that was like the underground type as well? Because you know you're not really just like in the popular hip hop. You also take it deep.
Right. Yeah, I think growing up in the Bay, like obviously I was exposed to a lot of E40 and Too Short off top. You know, early one, Hammer, MC Hammer, right? Those were some of the early ones. And then as far as like what really got me in, like I'm an MTV generation kid. Honestly, actually, it probably goes back to that. I would say that the first rappers that I ever really saw, me personally, as a kid after school, growing up during that MTV generation, and other people in my age group could probably relate to this, was honestly probably Run DMC and the Fat Boys, man. Honestly, like mid-80s, because again, I'm an MTV generation kid. I used to come home after school every day, and I was the only kid in the house. So I grew up on MTV, honestly. And when Aerosmith teamed up with Run DMC for Walk This Way, I was like, yo, what the fuck is that? What is that? And Fat Boys were out at the time on MTV. And I was like, yo. And then came Beastie Boys, white rappers though, LL Cool J. And so those were probably my first entrances into rap music, hip hop culture because of MTV. Again, I was an MTV kid. So if it wasn't on MTV, and again too, like this opens up another big story, especially on the heels of Juneteenth. But like, you know, we all know the story, or a lot of us know the story of like how Michael Jackson himself fought, you know, to get on MTV as one of the first Black artists, you know, and yeah, it was just a different time and era back then. So for me, having that cable TV medium available to me, it took that to expose me to, you know, Black culture and hip hop music and rap. Before that, I only knew like R&B, you know, and a lot of Blue Eyed Soul, you know, Doobie Brothers, Michael McDonald, you know, dope shit, right? But again,
Yeah,
the white versions of, you know,
right.
and outside of like Stevie Wonder and Quincy Jones and shit, you know. But as far as rap and hip hop, yeah, it was probably Run DMC and Fat Boys and LL Cool J. I would say those are the top three that really exposed me, alongside Beastie Boys, that really exposed me to hip hop culture and what rap music was. And it wasn't until the late 80s that I really was all in, you know, because prior to that, as you can remember too, Jay.Byrd, there was a lot of rock, a lot of heavy metal, even in the mid to late 80s, outside of like pop, meaning like Michael Jackson, Stevie, Whitney, you know what I'm saying? Madonna, right? So probably it for me.
Yeah, 80s was an incredible decade for music.
Romeo said Snow did it for me. Yeah, that was the cherry on top.
Oh my goodness. Informing us.
Yeah, Vanilla Ice and Snow, man. That's what got me into hip hop music, you know?
You know, yeah, you know, he's like Beastie Boys, the white boys, and then it came Snow, and then came Vanilla Ice. Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm gonna show you a picture right now that's gonna blow your mind.
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
I've always been in groups because you mentioned Vanilla Ice. So this was before Vanilla Ice, ladies and gentlemen. I just got to reach over. Hold on. When you have gold handy next to you, you gotta show it.
Oh wow. Wow, look at that, y'all. That is incredible. Look at that 8x10.
Yes.
Wow. TJ
Young
Hype. Amazing.
TJ Hype.
Look at that. What year was that, Jay?
That was all right. That group is how I met Portrait.
Oh wow. Tell us a story there.
Okay. Young Jay, yes. So that was like 19, I want to say 88 or 89.
Okay.
Sister Byrd says she has that picture. And so my boy that you see in the picture, he was a bank teller. Comes to my apartment one day and he's like, yo, man, we got to go to the studio and make a demo. And I'm like, a demo of what? Like, you know, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, I'm going to rap. I was like, you don't rap? And then he was like, yeah, you go make the beats. I was like, I don't make beats. You know, I DJ, I don't make beats. And he's like, yeah, I met this guy from Delicious Vinyl, but he wasn't really from Delicious Vinyl. The story is crazy. So I was like, all right, man. So I put together ideas. I didn't put together beats. I put together ideas.
Mm-hmm.
I booked some studio time and I met the, you know, the guy working the board and everything like that. And he was like, he took us to the pre-production area and he taught me everything about making beats and sequencing songs. And like, he taught me everything. He was so, I love that guy to this day because he just taught me everything.
And what year was this?
It's like 1988, 89.
Okay.
And, you know, we're doing 2-inch tape. You know, you record on 2-inch tape. And then you do your master on 1/4-inch reel-to-reel.
Right.
So he taught me the whole board when my boy's doing lyrics, and he was just terrible. He couldn't rap for shit. And he was actually like biting like LL Cool J rhymes and other, I didn't even know at the time. He was just biting. And anyway, so we made like this demo of like 5 songs. And then he was like, yeah, the dude wants to meet us. And then so we went to this really big, nice recording studio. And I met this guy. His name was Suave. He was a Billy Vanilli artist on Capitol Records.
Oh wow.
Also one of the biggest gangsters in all of LA. I did not know. Suge Knight worked for him before Suge Knight. Yeah. The story is crazy, bro. Like, you guys are going to enjoy the story. I mean, we're taking a little bit away from Sonny D, but this story needs to be told to you guys. So we get to the studio, and the dude is buying like a Mercedes on the phone. I've never seen anyone buy a car on the phone before. He's got the big, Dookie gold chain. And we pop in the tape, and Portrait was there. Portrait was the ones that produced and sang all his music before they came out with a record. So he remade My Girl and all that stuff. And Portrait did all his music, and they sang all his lyrics. And every time I hear a Suave song, I laugh because I know who the singers are. Anyway, so I played the cassette. It was a cassette, and they loved the music, and they made fun of the rapper. So Suave brings me into Capitol Records like the next week and just signs me to a production deal with Joy Bailey, Capitol Records. And then that's how the birth of jay.byrd with Portrait became, we started, working nonstop. And this dude Suave, so I had to connect, like I said earlier, I was in the streets, and I had to connect, and my Suave, he wanted to rob my boy. So I was like, oh man, I don't know where he lives. I just beat him. But I knew where he lived. And at the time, I worked at one of the hottest clubs in the San Fernando Valley on Ventura Boulevard. It was called Montego. I mean, you had like Daryl Strawberry there. I met Charlie Wilson from the Gap Band there. I'm not even 21 working like this dope ass club. And so here comes Suave. And I told my boy, I was like, hey, keep an eye on this guy because he's trying to get at me for some information.
Okay.
So the club is over. I'm putting my records in the trunk, and then I close the trunk, and then here comes Suave. And Suave comes out, it's like, jay.byrd. It's like, why you in such a hurry? I was like, I want to introduce you to someone. This is my guy, Suge Knight, and he just has a couple questions for you. This is straight up like out of a movie. So I'm on the side, like we're on the sidewalk outside in front of the club. And the first thing they did is they made my boy roll down his window, and he was like, is this the guy that been staring at you all night? He's like, yeah. And Suave was like, yeah, that's the motherfucker. And without even looking at my boy, like Suge Knight just punches through, like, what the window is rolled down, and just busted his whole face open, not even looking at him. Busting my boy's face open. I was like, damn, I just feel bad because I told him to keep an eye on them.
Sheesh.
I was like, damn. And I was like, all right. So he's like, yo, my name is Suge, man. And if you answer these questions, everything's going to be all good. But if not, I'm going to have to handle it. And I was like, oh, okay. And my boy's name was Corey. He's like, oh, so where does your boy Corey live? And I was like, I don't know. I just meet him. And before I could even finish, I just meet him. Like jab, like right to the jaw, just like, okay, all right. And they asked me a few more times, and I was insistent that I did not know.
Right.
I did not get, and I warned them. I even warned my boy. I was like, yo, like these guys want to come rob you.
Right.
And so they roughed me up.
She said, jay.byrd said, I ain't no snitch.
I ain't no snitch. No, I'm not getting my boy, because I know what they do. Like, they don't just like rob you, like they tie you up. And I'm gonna tell you what they ended up in jail for. Like, it's a bad situation. Like, so like while I got this record deal with Capitol Records, I have to go through this kind of stuff. And so I got out of the situation that night without saying anything, and then I go meet my boy the next day. Now, my face is kind of altered from taking a couple Suge Knight punches. So you can understand that my boy really didn't say anything. Like, So I warned him. I was like, don't keep anything in the house. Sure enough, they found out from somebody else where he lived. And they went and they robbed him for $22,000 cash and then some product.
Jesus,
So they
man.
got him good. They got him good. And after I warned them, I
22K
told
back
them.
then was a lot more than 22K today, by the way, people. Just
Yeah.
inflation costs.
Uh-huh. So yeah, they robbed my boy. I had to move the next day. Have you ever had to like move like literally the next day? That's
Yes. Day
crazy.
of. Yes.
So I had to move out of my apartment the next day. I found a new apartment and I moved out the next day. And anyway, so yeah, we had to take Suave to court and get out of our contracts because he was stealing all our money. And also, he ended up he's in jail for life because he did the same thing to a couple. He tied up a couple. He poured gasoline on them and lit them on fire.
Jesus.
And that's why I don't want to tell him. Like, I'm not trying to tell like where my boys are at. I don't want my boys having something like that done to them.
Right.
So yeah, so that was the whole Suave thing. And he came out, he was a Milli Vanilli artist on Capitol, but he's the one that introduced me to Portrait. And I had to
Wow.
go through hell and back to, you know, to link up with Portrait went through the same thing. They went through the same thing with Suave as me. So yeah,
Jeez.
that's why we're so close. That's why we're best friends to this day. We're so close because we had to go through some crazy shit with that guy.
Wow. That's gnarly. Where's
Yeah.
Portrait from, by the way, brother? Where are they from originally?
So Portrait is they're from different parts of the country. Irv, who's like the slow, the ballad singer, he's from Providence, Rhode Island, and has since moved back to Providence, Rhode Island.
Huh.
Phil lives in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Well, he lives out here now, but he's from Tulsa. And then Michelangelo, the main producer, and then the falsetto guy Eric, they're from LA. So
Okay.
those are the four. And then they were out here like just writing records for people. They weren't a group. Capitol Records made them do a record.
Oh, back when they used to A&R, huh?
They weren't even A&Rs. They were music producers. So they produced tracks and write songs. Like
Right.
they had a production deal with Quincy Jones with Quest Music. Like that was their main income. Was, you know, publishing ain't the same nowadays that it used to be.
Right.
But they had a publishing deal writing records for a lot of people. Shanice, like a lot of people.
A
They
lot of
wrote
hits.
for a lot of people. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, Portrait, like they just people think Portrait, they just think here we go again, Honey Dip, just the records. But they
Yeah.
don't know that they started out as songwriters and producers and so much talent in that group. It's ridiculous.
Which is very common too, right, bro? Like
Right.
for a lot of people, even to this day, like that's kind of how you start behind the scenes, and you know, you craft records, you're a part of the process, and then, you know, hopefully potentially you become front and center stage yourself, you know, as an artist.
Right. And I don't even think they were thinking about that either.
You said that
Like,
they
'cause
were
they
put
was just-
together by Capitol, like A&Rs at
They were put
Capitol.
together. They were put
Gotcha.
together by Joy Baylor. Yeah, Joy Bailey put them together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who you work for? Did you work for any other labels besides Def Jam?
Yeah, the first label I went to was actually Priority Records, which soon
Okay.
after became Capitol Records, because they merged and they did away with Priority. So yeah, I was at Capitol in 2002 with my brother Glenn Oury, who helped get me that job. Shout out to Glenn Oury. I think he's actually DJing at the DT Jams live partner celebration event up in the Bay right now.
Nice.
But yeah, Priority Records to Capitol Records. From there, I went to TVT Records, which housed at Priority Records, I'll give you the rundown too on some of the marquee artists. But like Priority, the first record I ever worked was Snoop Dogg and Pharrell, Beautiful. So that was a great way to come in. That ended up going #1. That was like my first plaque on the wall from Capitol. And then we had other artists like Chingy, West Side Connection, Dilated People, Slum Village. So that was a great era. Then after that, I went to a boutique label called TVT Records. And TVT at the time, they had people like Snoop Dogg and Doggy's Angels. They had Pitbull. They had Yin Yang Twins, Little John, which were all brand new acts at the time during that crunk era. So I was there for that.
Yes.
And from there, I moved over to Epic Records because my boss who brought me over from Capitol was like, yo, Sonny, this TVT Records thing's going to end. You know, this guy's blowing money. They're going to close up shop here any day. We got to get out of here. You know, he's like, even Little John and Pitbull are leaving. You know, we got to break out we're going to Epic. And I was like, all right, wherever you go, I'm going, So we ended up going to Epic Records. And we were over there for a couple of years until the recession hit. And Epic at the time, circa 2009, decided that they wanted to get out of black music altogether. And with that, they closed our department. And then black music actually didn't come back to Epic Records until a few years later when L.A. Reid took over. And he brought over Bobby Shmurda, as you guys might remember. And then Travis Scott and Future. And so during that time, I started working independently for all the record labels, because now as a free agent. So I was working for everybody from Universal to Sony to Warner and all the companies underneath, which were like, everything like Universal, Epic itself, Jive, Atlantic, you name it, I worked it, and then I was working independent artists and acts as well too. And then I got into tour management, hooked up with my bros, the Stereotypes, who we met through Far East Movement. At the time, they were the producers for Far East Movement, as well as for Dan Eddie Kane. They did the Damage record, which was really big. And they were like really good friends of mine. And I started tour managing for those guys and acts that they were signing and working with. Back then, it was like people that nobody knew, including people like Bruno Mars, Miguel, for example, and of course, Danny Kane as well, too. And did that for a few years. And then in 2016, I was approached by some homies at Def Jam to see if I would be interested in going back to a major record label. And, you never say never in life,
Right.
So did that. And then I was there at Def Jam for 8 years until this past year. And then now I'm working independently again behind the scenes. And that's been the major label journey. So Priority Capital, TVT, Epic, and Def Jam. Those are all the major labels I've been at over my career. But I've worked for all. Yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Yes.
What's up? Yeah, it's been a good run. I ran into the wheels fell off, man.
When I think Priority, I'm thinking Ice Cube and, of course, Ruthless Records with the NWA stuff.
Yeah. Dude, you want to hear a funny story real quick about Priority Records and NWA? So everybody's seen the movie, right, about NWA. What was it? I don't even remember what it was called. But
Straight Outta Compton, yeah.
Boom, everybody's seen Straight Outta Compton. There is a scene in there where Cube goes ape shit on the label executives, and he goes into Priority Records, and he takes a baseball bat and he starts fucking shit up at the label. One of the plaques that he smashed, you guys can see a lot of plaques behind me. One of the plaques he smashed in that office in that moment that went into the scene in the movie Straight Outta Compton. One of my little buddies up in the Bay Area has that plaque on his wall, one of them. And it's literally smashed from the bat that Cube used in that moment in the movie. And he literally has it on his wall. It's insane. I'm going to text you a picture of it, when I get a chance.
I love it. Cool.
But incredible hip hop history. I was like, dude, do you know how much this piece of memorabilia in hip hop history is worth?
Right. Exactly.
Insane.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That is dope.
Man. Pretty cool.
That is dope. Yeah, I love all the plaques that you got set up in your background right there, man. There's a lot of plaques there.
It's been a good run, man. It's really blessed, dude. It's been a good run, man. About 25 years, actually, this year. Yeah, because my first industry gig was in 2000, coincidentally. So, yeah, it's been literally 25 years, man.
Well, it's actually 26 years because you got to count the zero.
Yeah, true that. Good call.
This Jewish cat is a mathematician, so
I love it. Do it, man.
So, all right, I gotta ask because I asked Lockdown this. I got. Hopefully, you have an answer. It's a tough question. Who is your number one MC of all time on your list?
For me personally, dude, I would say, for me personally, off top, without even fucking thinking, Nas, man. That's my guy. Nas. Because he was there before I got started, and he's there now still to this day. Like, incredible. Shout out to Slick Rick as I say that as well, too. But fucking Nas, man. Just, wow.
That's two guests in a row. I asked the question to both you guys. You guys both said Nas.
How about that? Lockdown said Nas as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is dope.
Yeah, I mean,
Nas
there's some
is dope.
god MCs, bro. Like, obviously, as I say that term, even you think of people like Rakim, you think of people like KRS-One, you know, no question, man. But for me, for my era, you know, like, I mean, dude,
Mm.
Nas on Live at the Barbecue for Main Source circa 1990, 91. Nas with, you know, Search in Third Base, you know, and then of course Nas's delivery, Illmatic. It's just a fucking masterpiece. And even to this day, in 2025, including just 2 weeks ago, he just dropped another record with, one of the legends, Slick Rick, as well too. And it just Nas evokes emotion for me, man. You know? Like, he is just
I
such
absolutely love
a
it.
storyteller and MC, dude. Like, nobody crafts a record like that, dude. Wow.
Right. Yeah, back to the grill again. I mean, like, he killed that verse and made all the other MCs just look stupid on that record.
Bruh.
Back
And
to
he
the
was
grill
a kid.
again was
He was a little baby.
yes. Right. And then Illmatic came shortly after that, and the Illmatic is one of the most iconic hip hop albums. It's got to be in everyone's collection if you love hip hop. So,
Oh yeah. Yeah. What about for you, man? Who's the standout MC for you comes to mind?
I love that because you said his name. You said his name. My number one is Rakim.
Rakim, yeah.
Rakim.
The man.
Rakim.
Legend.
Yeah.
Yeah. He is incredible. See, now if I was like 10 years older, it would be Rakim. You know, Rakim is you probably, and I already know why. To why Nas is what he is to me for my era. You know, I'm like 10 behind. So it's like, yeah, that makes sense. Rakim, like, I mean, even if you go back and you get familiar with Rakim now and you missed it, and even culturally at the time when he was doing it, holy shit, it still makes sense as to why this guy is the god MC, you know?
Right. And he's the most humble dude like you'll ever meet. It's so crazy to me. Like I actually became like friends with him, and he's just so humble, and he doesn't think of himself like the rest of us think of him, you know, because some artists get into that. Like if you tell someone that they're the greatest enough times, eventually they're gonna think they're the greatest, you know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Rakim and Nas, man. Literally probably two of the best MCs.
Right.
You know?
I got Big Daddy Kane up there too. Big Daddy Kane up there too.
Yeah,
so.
again, 80s legend as well. Yeah, because you're from that school before me. So like yeah, those are those guys, you know? And so from me looking at it too, like I'm like, damn, those the Big Daddy Kane, KRS-One, Rakim for sure, you know. Fuck. Yep. Amazing MCs.
But the 90s are great too, you know, like there's so many hip hop artists from the 90s because that's what we morphed into, you know, like as when the 80s we were just learning about the culture.
Yeah.
But in the 90s we morphed into being part of the culture.
Yeah.
You know, so because when it was new to me, when the hip hop culture was new to me, and when I say hip hop culture, it's not just hip hop, it's not just rap music, it's break dancing, it's the graffiti.
Yeah.
It's the DJ at the forefront with the MC pumping up the DJ.
Yeah, it's the legit 5 elements of hip hop for sure. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So and it morphed into like the 90s thing, and it was a great hip hop was so great in the 90s, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I think one of my good mentors and friends in life is King Tech from the Wake Up Show, partner of Sway. And yeah, I think when Tech and I were talking about MCs like this as well too, I think his might be Rakim as well, coincidentally. And again too, he's like your age as well too. He's from the school before me, the era before me. So like, and he was an avid break dancer and, you know, championship break dancer in the Bay Area at the time too. So yeah, man. Yeah. For you guys in the 80s, I think, yeah, Rakim, that makes a lot of sense, dude.
That's what's
Big
up.
Daddy Kane as well. Yep. That's another one. Yep. Yeah. Pretty dope.
Yeah, Big Daddy Kane. Of course, Boogie Down Productions, KRS-One, you know.
Yeah. What an era, man. And on the R&B, you guys were there too for an amazing transformative time in R&B music and culture as well. Right. Wow.
I mean, I'm very upset today because what happened to the R&B groups? Like there's no more R&B groups. And on top of that, even R&B artists, what happened to the art of R&B? What happened to the art of background vocals? What happened to the art of ad libs? Like there's so much that is no longer exists in music that we're missing.
Yeah.
and that's why our concerts. So unfortunately, they put so many artists on our concerts. So like we have Shy, and then you have like SWV, you have Jodeci, you have Tony. You have like 8 artists. The more
Yeah.
artists you have, the less the pot is, right? There's only
Yeah.
so much money to go around, right? But these shows sell out every time, as opposed to where these new artists they struggle in even a smaller environment,
Right.
because of the love of. I mean, I don't even know if like younger people go to shows. I don't even know what it is, but I know hip hop artists need to stop rapping over their songs. Like, get a TV track. You all
Right.
heard of a TV track? You know what I'm saying? Just put it,
They don't
put it,
know.
put it. Yeah. So for y'all that don't know what a TV track is, a TV track has the chorus on there. It has background vocals and it has the ad libs, and the artist just has to do the main vocals. The whole song is there, but nowadays artists are singing over or rapping over the actual song, and it's it disgusts me as an artist. Question for Sonny D: when did you discover the great love that you have for freestyle music? I was going to get into that, but Dizzy Danielle wants to get into it.
She's 3 hours ahead, man. She ain't got time for the bullshit. She came here for one
Right.
thing only. She want to hear about freestyle.
Yeah.
No, man. I mean, I've said this a couple times. Like, the long and short of it for me is, like, again, being in the Bay Area, man. Like, and with the culture and terrestrial radio specifically, like, anybody from the Bay can vouch for this too, if you're around, or even if you're younger and your parents, like, they just ran the shit out of it, like, just ran it into the ground. Like, I was talking to, I think D1 Drew I was talking to, or B-Stang, like, or no, it was Remark. Shout out to DJ Remark. Remark knows. He's like, yeah, he's like, dude, I get it. He's like, because when freestyle music and the culture was like super mainstream and popping in popular culture, the Bay Area had it, they ran with it, and then it died, but the Bay Area stayed on it for like another 2 decades. So, like, these guys were still, I mean, to this day, they probably still banging freestyle up there like it's brand new, like it's 1986 or some shit, or 1992. Like, I just can't take it, man. I can't take it, bro. And I'm a little bit younger than you, so, I'm like,
right,
no.
the home of Jocelyn Enriquez, yeah.
Right, yeah, salute to Jocelyn, man. There you go, one and only B got the D1 Drew emotes. I love it. But yeah, that's my joke. I could probably tolerate like maybe 10 records in freestyle, and the rest I'm just like, man, I can't do no more, man.
So you're not doing any freestyle raid trains then?
Won't find me on any freestyle raid trains. You won't, I might touch a freestyle record here or there, literally, here and there. But yeah, no, I can't tell you. They just ran it into the ground, man. Right. Ran it into the ground. Shout out to San Jose, and man.
It's and I get your point of view, but it is fun music, and it goes and the whole thing goes to me for like the whole Bad Bunny thing, right? So say you're DJing an event, and a girl walks up and is like, "Could you play some Lisa and Trinier?" You know what I'm saying? And you play it, and then the crowd like goes, even though you already got the crowd, they go up a notch because that's their vibe.
Yes.
Right. So that's the whole Bad Bunny thing. Like, DJs hate when people come up with the phone. Can you play Bad Bunny? Right. But the thing about playing Bad Bunny is it takes your party that you're already rocking.
Yeah.
It takes it up a notch. So why would you be mad about playing Bad Bunny if it takes your party up to another level?
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I'm not saying freestyle is Bad Bunny, but I'm just saying that maybe there's, if you were DJing an event and they wanted freestyle, I'm pretty sure that you would rock it.
If need be, yeah. And I don't DJ in real life anymore. You know what I mean? I haven't done that since probably 04. Rest in peace to DJ AM. But yeah, that was like the last time I ever spun in front of a live audience,
Okay.
Personally.
Well, we're going to have to change that. You hear that, guys? We're going to change that. We got to get Sonny D, whether it's at a meetup. Well, no matter where it's at, we're going to get Sonny D live for you guys, because we need Sonny D live. Definitely.
It's definitely
Yes.
different too, right? DJing in real life than it is at a club or on Twitch or on the radio, right?
For
Totally
y'all
different.
that don't know, it's totally different. Yes, it is totally different. Oh, matter of fact, I'm gonna talk to Ice and Planet Promote, and we're gonna get Sonny D at Real Ones.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But I love just like hanging out and watching all my fellow DJs get down, man. Like for me, it's just like a release, you know what I mean? So even if you catch me in my
But
streams, like I'm always just riding a vibe. I'm doing transitions, I'm letting shit ride, like freestyling. That's the closest I get to freestyle music is just
right,
freestyling the DJ. But I'll just go wherever, whatever feels right. And yeah, man, it's not even
yeah,
so much about quick mixes. Like it's all about just like feel, man, like cultivating a vibe. Like I'm all about cultivating a vibe, and
I
that's why I love
know.
it so much, dude, and it's boundless too. Like genres, you can go anywhere you want. Like even today I did a
Right,
set, it was like all over. So yeah,
right.
man, love it.
It's a big difference, but I think the people would love to see. I mean, you're dope.
Thank you,
You're
man. I
dope.
appreciate
I love watching your streams. Like you're totally dope. You got not only the personality, but your mixes, like the use of stems that you use. Like
Thank you, bro.
I would really love to see that live, and you would be perfect for Real Ones because they do a lot of, you know, hip hop music there and stuff like that. You'd be
Sweet.
perfect for Real Ones.
No, I appreciate that, Jay. Thank you, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lot
See, one and only B agrees.
yeah, shout out
Because
to B,
she's at Real Ones. Yeah, she's at Real Ones all the time. So
right? Love that.
yeah,
Yeah, shout out to all the LA fam, man, for real.
yeah. So right now, I would like to open up the forum. If you guys have any questions for Sonny D, please. It could be about anything. You know, say. I mean, I wouldn't go too private. You know, too personal. But
Ha.
whatever you guys want to ask Sonny D. Sonny D, super dope DJ, works for the labels. He streams on Twitch as well.
So fun. I love it.
It's streaming is I never, you said you streamed on what it was Zoom.
Oh
And that
yeah.
was before the pandemic, right? That was
No,
way before.
that was during the pandemic. During the pandemic and then through the end, through the end of my tenure there. Yeah. That was really fun. But yeah, because we all went on Zoom right during the pandemic. So and then once I
Right.
discovered Twitch during pandemic, like a lot of people here, then I started, buying, whatever we needed, including like the Rodecaster Pro stuff. And then I was like, dude, like, everybody knew that I had DJ'd on the radio before I became like a label executive. So they would be like, yo, Sonny, like, would you mind playing some music at the beginning of the Def Jam meeting for the company coast to coast and just like playing some music in the background? That way, like when people come in, it's not just dead silence. That way there's like a little bit of a vibe. And I was like, okay, cool. So the first time I did that for Def Jam, like, I jumped on a little early, like we did here earlier today. And I just played the instrumental for Grindin' from Clips. And
Love it.
that alone was like fire. Like didn't have any DJing stuff, literally just played it, the instrumental off the MP3. And I remember all the homies in the New York office like hitting. They were like, "Yo, that was so dope, Sonny." I was like, "All I did was just play a song. I didn't do shit. Like I just played the song, Like, just that way, there's some music when you come into the meeting, and it's not like dead as fuck." And so that's
Right.
how it started. And then I started streaming on Twitch. And I was like, "Dude, let me see if I can do this for Def Jam during the company meeting every week." And then one week they jumped on, and I had my overlays up. And it was still just instrumentals, but they could see like they were like, "Wait, is this live?" Because you have a chat in Zoom, as you know. So
Right.
people were like, "Yo, is this live? Like, who is that?" And I didn't have like Sonny D up there, so they just saw hands moving, and they were like, "What the fuck is this?" So that's how it started, and then eventually it became what you see on Twitch now, which is like me on the mic, like, to the chairman to see, "Yo, Tunji was good. Yo, Jay.Byrd, I see you," hitting the fucking air horns and shit. And people were like, "What is happening?"
You definitely got the personality for it. So yeah, and not everybody's a DJ and they're not familiar. So yeah, I'm sure they were blown away. Yeah.
I quickly became like a little bit, I had a little taste of celebrity. I had people coming out from the New York office to LA, and they'd pull up in the office and be like, yo, Sonny, what's up? And I was like, because I would be like, do I know you? Or like, but they were becoming fans. So they knew me because they saw me every week in front of 100+ people at the company, but I didn't see them. So I was like, oh, hey, what's up? It was pretty funny.
And that's kind of like being a streamer. It's funny that you say that. So being a streamer, like you see all the names, but you don't have the faces that go with the names. So when people walk up to you and they recognize you as a streamer, you're like, I don't know that face, you know.
So fun, right? You probably get that a lot, and you have a really recognizable face, and you got like everything recognized as you, bro. But I got a taste of that at Scam Summer a couple of years ago, and people started coming up to me, like normal people, not industry people. Like, as I said, I think of like Rich and Jackie Beats, DT Jams, you know, like I think of those folks, and I'm like, oh, hey, what's up? You know, I'm Jackie Beats, and I was like, oh shit, what's up? Hey, what's up? Can I take a picture with you? It's like, oh, sure.
Right.
It's pretty cool. It's fun.
And we just ask people, when you say hi to us, please just tell us who you are and just don't assume that we know. Introduce yourself. It'll be great. Yeah.
I love the Twitch community, man, including people like Rich and Jackie Beats and DT Jams. And like, man, it's like, dude, it's so good. It's like food for the soul, man. Shout out to everybody on Twitch, dude, for real.
So we got a couple questions here for you from Cyberdog. What was the defining moment when you realized you hit the big time?
Dude, you know what? Yeah, I always work behind the scenes, Cyberdog. So, you know, it's always cool to be, you know, as jay.byrd can attest, like with a laminate, VIP credentials, backstage, on stage. That's always fucking cool, you know. Concerts, radio stations. But for me, like when it felt the best, honestly, I think the greatest job I've ever had in the music business was as a tour manager. And simply said, the reason why, and my favorite time was touring with Danny D. Kane, the girl group that was signed to Bad Boy. That was my greatest time in life for me personally, because as a tour manager, I was in charge. So I had the tickets. I controlled the meet and greets. I controlled the backstage access. I was like big brother to the girls. Like, you know, I was their tour manager. And so for me, that was probably the pinnacle of like, you know, air quote, big time. Like, and I wasn't shit. I wasn't anybody special, but you know, people see you and they know you and they see you running the VIPs and, you know, the meet and greets with the artists. And so that was a special time because it allowed me to really go from being a fan where I started, like everybody here, to really having some power. And so as I say that, one of my favorite things was, and I still keep up with a lot of fans from that Danny Kane era to this day, you know, and I love that because I love people, you know. But one of my favorite things was when I was touring with Logic. Shout out to Logic up there in the middle, as you can see. And
so good.
Yeah. Shout out to Logic, man, who just dropped an album, by the way, with Juicy J from 3-6 Mafia 2 weeks ago. Shout out to Bob. I remember being at a Logic show here in LA at the it was at one of the outdoor amphitheaters. Not the Hollywood Bowl, but the other one.
The Greek Theater?
The Greek Theater. Boom. We're at the Greek Theater, 7,500 people. And dude, you've been to the Greek Theater, 7,500 people. I walked to the very fucking back of the amphitheater. Oh, and I did this at Red Rocks also. Yeah, fuck the Greek Theater. I went to we're at Red Rocks in fucking Colorado. If anybody here has ever been to Red Rocks, it is incredible. It's like God's country. The venue of all venues, one of them. It's insane. Anyways, I'm at Red Rocks. That one is not 7,500 people. That is like, I don't know, 20. Dude, I hiked up the hill, up those steps to the very end of Red Rock Theater. And there was this little Latin family. It's like 7 deep. Little boys, little girls. And you could tell the parents brought them. They probably never fucking heard of Logic. And I walked back there, man. And I introduced myself. And I said, how would you guys like to go sit up front? And they looked at me like I was crazy, right? Flashing the lamp. And I was like, I got tickets for you. Come with me. And they're like, once they realized that I was telling the truth, they're like, oh my God, Mijo, go with him, you know? Dude, I walked them all the way fucking down to the front, dude, and put them right in the middle, man, because I had extra tickets.
So great. So
and it was
great.
the greatest feeling, man. The greatest. You can see it on my face as I tell the story. So for me, that's the best. That was for me making it big, getting to a point, not where I was popular or people knew me, but where I was in a position to fucking give back and help fans and create a moment.
That is so dope.
Yeah.
That
and
is such an awesome story.
To this day, right? You know about that,
Yes.
JB. Like, it's special, man. It's special.
That is definitely special. That is an awesome story. I love that story, man. Yeah, right on, Sonny D.
Yeah, good one.
We got Dizzy Danielle in the building here. She wants to know, who's your favorite mod?
Oh, you already know who it is. Brooklyn Queen, Dizzy Danielle, man. Forget about it.
Dizzy Danielle.
Danielle, man. She got her own emote, man. That's my one and only mod right there. Always holds me down today.
That's what's up. Yeah, shout out to all the mods on Twitch, you know, that really hold us down and help us out a lot, more than we really know. So
it makes a big difference. Even when the chats are dead, right, Jay.Byrd? Like, you got a mod in there stirring the chat, just keeping it lit. Like, because what do? We feed off of energy, right, Jay? So
right, exactly. One and only B wants to know, what do you love about streaming on Twitch?
What do I? Oh, the people. I love people like One and Only B. You know, and DJ High Note, DJ Audio One, and DJ Jay.Byrd, and Icy Ice, and Remark, and everybody else, man. Like, honestly, the Twitch community is really special, you know, and I love it. It's such a release, dude. Like, you know, you never have to be alone, you know, but
right.
It's such a great platform, but it's really the people, man. I'm a people person, which is why I do what I do, marketing and promotion, and yeah, man, I just love people, dude. So the chance to get to connect with other music heads and, you know, audiophiles and other DJs and even producers and even people like Jay.Byrd himself, like, who, again, like, I grew up listening to Portrait. You know, I was in high school when Portrait came out, and I was making, you know, R&B mixtapes for all the homies at school with Portrait on it. That's fucking cool. That's cool, right?
Amazing.
Like, oh, Sonny, Sonny's got all the mixtapes. He's got all the new music. The only thing cooler than that is actually being with the fucking artist like Jay.Byrd was. You know, I was sitting there making mixtapes of the music and my music heroes and R&B and hip hop, you know, heroes. And Jay.Byrd was actually touring and doing all the shit I just talked about in real life, you know, like, that's fucking cool. So even this moment is an example of what I love about Twitch, you know, like this moment.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Much love, Sonny D.
Thank you, Jay.
Cecil G in the building, great supporter as well. Wants to know, what was the first album that both of us, that we ever bought with our own money?
Oh, with our money? Oh, damn. I remember the first cassette tape I ever stole. I don't remember the first one I ever bought, though.
While I'm taking a sip, that's what's up.
Hey, bro, what about you, man? What's the first one you ever bought?
I would want to say, man, because my dad blessed me with so many records. Like, so just to let you know, so I had like one of those boxes, and you unlatch the box, lift up the top, and the top is a speaker. And then inside the box is a phonograph.
Right.
So you get to play records and you get to hear it on the speaker from the box. And my dad would just bless me with like records, like he gave me like Beatles records and Paul Revere and the Raiders. And I think the first record that I actually bought was Kiss Alive 2. And that's from like 1976 or 77 or something like that.
Amazing.
Kiss Alive 2. And I would just, and the thing about it is I would just sit in my room with the headphones and I'd blast it. And you would just feel like you're on stage, because it's a live concert. It's a record of a live concert. And they do these drum solos. And I was just, oh my God, it was amazing to me. I would sit in my room and listen to records on records on records all the time.
Love that, man.
Yeah.
Love that.
You don't remember your first,
you know what, dude? I don't remember The first album the question was the first album that you ever bought, right? First album you bought.
Yeah.
I mean, at that age, again, coming from the MTV generation, like remember the music clubs, Jay.Byrd, like was it BMG maybe? And it's like in the magazines, it's like, order
10 for a dollar. 10 for a penny. 10 for a penny.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So I just remember some of the early ones that I had, like, again, like was like Too Short, Big Daddy Kane, LL Cool J, and that was like some of the hip hop stuff. On the R&B front, Paris was another one from San Francisco. On the R&B side, some of the early ones I remember from that era were probably like Paula Abdul. Actually, Paula Abdul's first album was one of them I remember, and MC Light. And then I remember on the rock and heavy metal side, like Def Leppard was my shit. I love Def Leppard.
Oh, Def Leppard. Oh man,
I loved Poison. So if I had 10, those are probably the early 10. I think those artists, right? All genres. Yeah.
All genres, nice.
Yeah, Janet Jackson. See, like I was a little too young for Control, so for me, my first Janet Jackson album was Rhythm Nation.
Rhythm Nation, right?
Yep. So those were probably the first ones in that 10 batch that I got.
Damn, nice. I love it.
Hey,
yeah, I mean, like I wasn't just rock back then. I mean, that was what was around in the 70s, right? Like there was no rap music yet.
No.
So for me, it was like I even bought like records just like off the album cover. Like AC/DC had the most amazing album covers, and I would just buy the record because of the album cover. And then I would listen to the record. I'll be like, oh yeah, now we get into some of the stuff on there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
dude,
even the
first
Queen.
I got.
What's that?
Coincidentally, shout out to the IE, the first rap CD that I got.
Okay.
Bridging from cassette to CD. The first rap CD I bought was, I believe, circa 1990. I was a freshman in high school, and coincidentally, it was from our IE brother, Lighter Shade of Brown. I was first rap CD. Yeah, on CD, not cassette, but the first rap CD I ever got was Lighter Shade of Brown with Spill the Wine and shit on it. So fire. Right. Shout out to ODM, man.
The first rap record I ever bought was Run DMC. The name of the album was Run DMC. Yeah, 30 Days, Wake Up. What was the rock song? Rockbox? That was Rockbox.
Yes. Yeah, Profile. Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, Profile Records. Yeah, that was my very first rap album I purchased. And then shortly after that, I got the Nucleus record. So that had Push the Button, Jam on Revenge. Of course, Jam on It's on there. But that was like Sunnyvale Records or something like that. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. So your boy, J Rego Music, wants to know what's our most memorable fanboy moment? Like, I guess an artist that you like were kind of like,
really
I can't believe I'm meeting this person. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I mean, it's probably been a lot. I think like off top, like one of my early ones, I think probably like Common, I was a big Common fan from the early 90s. Like when he had, this is before anybody gave a fuck about him. Like, cause he didn't really start getting notoriety until after he did Soul by the Pound remix. But before that, he had a couple of singles out, Breaker 19 and also Take It Easy. And by that time I had transitioned from MTV to BET. And so for me, Common probably was like one of the first guys that like I remember kicking it with, like in the studio. And that was really special. And in that moment, I actually had him sign my plaque, which is over there on the wall, for like Water for Chocolate. And that was a special moment for me because my first internship in the business was in the summer of 1999 at MCA Records, where Common, Mary J. Blige, The Roots, Shaggy, shout out to Dizzy Danielle, Jizza from Wu-Tang Clan, they were all signed there, as was Casey and JoJo. And so I got a chance to be around all those artists as well too, but not like personally, like I was in the room around them. It's different because then you're still fanning out. Like, you know. But when you get a chance to like have dialogue with somebody, I would say probably Common. And that's why it was so special, because by that point I'd gotten into the music industry and I was already at Gavin Magazine. And then so hanging out with Common in the studio to listen to like one of his new albums, the Like Water for Chocolate, which is now like a incredible, you know, hip hop album for the culture behind Resurrection, of course. But that was special for me, being in there with him and getting to do this shit. And then I brought my plaque and I had him sign it. And again, it was like the first shit that I was ever a part of as an intern. So like I was the one sending out drops for DJs as an intern, you know, when I was broke and sleeping in my car, you know, like, you know, I would drive down from Santa Barbara and I was an intern, like I said, and MCA Records at the time was in Universal City. And, you know, they were like, yo, come down like once a week, man, fuck that. I would come down like every day. And so it got to a point where like I would just sleep in my car even. And I was so fucking broke. I didn't have any money. I didn't have any clothes. I barely had money for gas. And so I would wear the same clothes every fucking day. You know what I'm saying? And then t-shirt wise, I would just take promo t-shirts from the promo merch closet. And anyways, yeah. So that's actually how I got in the business, was interning at MCA, sleeping in my car, wearing the same shit every fucking day, not having no fucking money. And
the struggle is real. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I chased that fucking dream.
Do you know who the owner of MCA Universal, do you know his name was back in the day?
No, tell me.
Lou Wasserman.
Oh, that name. I've seen that in print. Wow.
My government name, Jay Wasserman.
Get out of here.
I'm not related though.
That's still really cool. And how funny is that we're talking about MCA?
Yeah, wow. My dad would use that to get us like into like dinner reservations or anything. My dad would always use the Wasserman name.
Yeah. What did your dad do? What was
my
his
dad
occupation?
he was in the garment industry for most of his life. So behind the scenes, selling to department stores and stuff like that. Eventually he did his last job. He would collect gold from dentists, you know, like they would use real gold for fillings and stuff like that.
Wow.
He would collect gold from dentists and then send the gold to the refinery. And then the dentist would get a check from the refinery and he would get a percentage of the gold check from the refinery. Crazy, right? Wow. You never even think of like, how does one even think of that job, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Amazing.
You know. So I got it's interesting. Oh, well, let me say mine. Mine obviously is probably going to be Rakim. I mean, I met Rakim numerous times, but the first time we met, it was at, I think I told the story last time, and it was at the Art of Rap. Remember Ice-T did the Art of Rap like documentary? So he put together the Art of Rap like concert, and it was at the Irvine Amphitheater, back when they had the Irvine Outdoor Amphitheater, 2015. And he had all the East Coast artists, dude. Like, they don't come out here. Like EPMD, Africa Bambaataa, Soul Sonic Force, Curtis Blow, Kumo D, Big Daddy Kane. Like, everybody from the East Coast was on that show. Rakim was on the show. And I'm good friends with Warren G. I do a lot of stuff with Warren G and Nate Dogg when he was alive. And so I did Nate Dogg tribute for Warren G's DJ. And then so I was going to the show. And I was driving with Warren G's brother to the show, and I was like, the only thing I want to do today, the only thing I care about is I want to meet Rakim. That's all I want to do.
Yeah.
So the backstage area was like, it was like bungalows. Remember bungalows?
Yes.
So there was like bungalows, and then like in the middle of the bungalows is like an outdoor area where we all congregate or whatnot. Warren G's brother tapping me on the shoulder, like, yo, there's your boy. And I turned and he's literally like shoulder to shoulder, like next to me. Like I didn't even realize he's shoulder to shoulder next to me. And I just went for it. And I was like, yo, man, I was like, I'm DJ jay.byrd. I've been DJ since the 80s. To me, you're the number one MC. Like you're my number one MC. And he was so he was so humble that day, right? Like we were talking for a while. And then he even said, he was like, yo, jay.byrd, excuse me for a minute. I gotta go on stage. It's like, excuse me, I gotta go on stage.
Talking?
What? Huh?
Because you kept talking. He needed to go, right?
No, Well, he's talking to me like we're having like a mutual conversation.
Oh, it's normal. And then he's like looking at his watch.
Yeah, he's like, oh shit, like I'm about to go on. And then so like I watched him from the side of the stage, and he was like, when I come back, we're gonna smoke a blunt. And then we came back and we smoked a blunt together. He introduced me to his family, and he was just
Hey,
so humble, so humble. And those kind of experiences, I tell people, like when you meet someone you look up to, it could go two different ways, right?
yeah.
Either they could be a dick or,
Yeah.
a jerk, and you never think about them the same ever again.
Oh man,
Or
that happens a lot.
right, or they could be humble and, like, just really nice to you, you you think of them even greater than what you thought of them in the first place.
That's a great
And
feeling. I love that.
yeah, yeah.
Dude, while you were talking, I thought of like two more instances where I geeked out. And I got to circle back on Common specifically because we talked about Common being one of the first ones where I was in a studio setting. I was
Mm,
like, yo, this is dope. Dude, to your point where you just said sometimes you meet him and they're a dick. I forged a nice relationship with Common at the time, circa like 2000,
mm.
right after like Water for Chocolate. And my best friend in the Bay Area, his name's Steve, goes by King Padmore on here. He's not in here. I didn't even tell him about I forgot to tell him that I'd be on here. But Steve ran into Common in Oakland at a clothing shop and he geeked out. He loved Common as well.
Yeah.
And he walked up on him and I guess Common was kind of a dick to him, you know?
Uh,
Then, Steve pulls out the Sonny D card. He's like, yo, one of my best friends is Sonny D from Gavin Magazine. And then at that moment, he said
mm,
everything switched and then he was nice. But Steve was like, man, fuck that guy. So now he hates
right.
Common to this day. Two other great hip hop moments, dude, I had, man. One this is like, I was at Capitol. I was working with Faith Evans. Salute to the Queen. I'm running around with Faith all day. End of the day, we're done promo marketing. She's like, yo, Sonny, can we go slide by a studio session? I just got called. I was like, yo, whatever you need, let's run it. Man, we pull up. It's motherfucking Devontae Swing from Jodeci. Bro,
Jodeci, yep.
yo, dogs, I'm sitting in the chair just like this. Devontae to my side, Faith Evans to my other side. I'm literally in between, and I'm just having to play it cool because I'm fucking working. I'm a label executive now. I'm not a fucking
Right.
fan who grew up on Jodeci. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
oh, now that was a moment. And then I'll give you one more great moment too. Fast forward circa 99, I think, maybe 2000. And long story short, down here in LA, I'm with my boy Latin Prince, who was on KMEL back in the day. We're in the studio with fucking Snoop and Dre and everybody, Corrupt, fucking Daz, everybody. They're recording Chronic 2000. I was there. It's in the studio. You were talking about
Whoa.
smoking weed with Rakim. I was fucking blowing it out with fucking pause. I was sitting there just blowing them back with fucking Snoop and Corrupt and Daz and everybody, man. And your boy Snoop had he had big bags of Kush, like, woo, that real humble Cali shit, right? Man, I'm in the studio. We're just smoking. I'm fucking lit. And these motherfuckers are legit recording Chronic 2000. Man,
Man,
we're
that's
all
wild.
ready to
That
come
is
in. Yo, Dre finally pulls up late. Everybody waiting on Dre. Dre comes in. Dogs, I'm in the studio. Now, the mixing boards, the consoles. Bruh, there's like
yes.
100 fucking pogs on this fucking board. And the fucking engineer, while we're in there smoking, getting lit, this fool is like fine-tuning a record. I don't remember what record. It was one of the joints on Chronic 2000,
Mhm.
which ended up becoming 2001. We know the hip-hop story.
Right.
Yo, dogs, it's got to be like 80 fucking pogs, 80 to 100 fucking pogs on the fucking board. I think we were
Yeah,
at, we were at Enterprise Studio, I think, over here in the Valley. This dude spent like the whole fucking time he's in there fine tuning. Pogs are the faders, on the board
right.
that you see in studio settings for everybody who don't know what pogs are. So he's fine tuning it like this and this instrument and this instrument and this instrument, the whole fucking board. Dre finally shows up. And I was geeking out. I was like, yo, right? Because I
Yeah.
grew up on Chronic, the Chronic album like 8 years prior, probably, Man, this fool comes in, classic, stands over the mixing board, presses play. He's there like this. He's listening. Turns down the volume, runs to the left side, and just does this. Doosh, 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 doosh. Just fucking undoes the whole fucking thing that the engineer spent 2 hours doing. And then he just starts rebuilding it one at a time. And watching him make the Chronic 2000 album.
Yeah.
Now, that was a moment. I forgot about
That's
that.
amazing.
That's the moment.
Amazing.
Yep. Woo!
No,
That
that's
was
incredible.
a real hip-hop story. Yep.
Yeah, that is.
So I got the
for
right there. And that shit is so special to me, man. Like,
I bet, man.
Woo.
Yeah, by the way, patch bays are the devil. And what y'all know, patch bays are the chords. There's a bay, and then you hook them up to like the different effects. Oh man, patch bays are the devil. Then you got wire and wire and wire and wire. That's crazy. Yeah, I know Dre did all that stuff too. So,
man, that dude is a perfectionist. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, watching him,
really,
that was crazy. Yeah. That was a moment.
We got another question from BTW Scotch. Maybe I don't really understand the question. Maybe you can help me out. What was the first album you bought with a PAL sticker, and were you underage? Do you know what a PAL sticker is?
Oh, parental advisory label. Yeah, shut up.
I was never, like I was already of age.
Right.
By the time they started doing that, I think that's because of like 2 Live Crew and NWA, they started doing that. I think really 2 Live Crew was the main thing that they started putting that label on.
Right. They started that. Yeah. You know what? And for me, the answer is probably that and Too Short. Probably that Band in the USA cassette tape and Too Short.
Right.
Too Short album at the time had those stickers on them. And the Too Short shit, as you know, real nasty, obviously, for good reason.
And I had all those cassettes, Freaky Tales. Yeah, Freaky Tales was nasty.
Even listening to it today, man, is fun. Yeah, I remember all that shit, man. Like, man, I was laughing about this with my mod Dizzy Danielle recently too. We were talking about I played Sweet Black Pussy, from DJ Quick. That was one of my favorite parental advisory label stickers on an album that I loved.
Do not play the video on Twitch, guys. Do not play that video on Twitch.
Have you ever had a nip slip on Twitch, Jay.Byrd, from a video you played, and there was like
I did, but I didn't get caught. I played Potion by Ludacris.
Oh, and that has some explicit on it?
That has some boobies. It has some boobies.
I did one from Rihanna, and I was like, oh, that's nice. And then I was just kind of gawking at it because I never saw the video myself.
You're right. Like they got to give you at least like a warning. Like you don't even know like all the time what they got going on in the video. So they're like, you're playing their video, but
oh my God.
Yeah. Speaking of Dizzy Danielle, she would like to know your all-time favorite DJ. That's
for
a
me,
crazy hard question.
Mine's an easy one. For me, it's Kid Capri, hands down. Kid Capri, man. Again, because of my era and the time that I grew up in. So watching that fool on Def Comedy Jam, for example, with Martin, man, like that and watching fucking Omar Epps play DJ GQ and Juice were like 2 moments that made me want to be a DJ. Stand out. Easy call for me. Kid Capri in real life and GQ on Juice.
And I love both those answers. That's awesome. For me, like a very special moment for me is I got a VHS tape of a DMC battle, and it was DJ Aladdin versus, I forgot this guy from Chicago. I forgot, but DJ Aladdin won. He's from Compton, and he did this transform of Rock the Bells.
Oof.
And he made this whole new beat of just transforming the Rock the Bells intro. And I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. And there's no way in hell that I could ever do that.
Insane.
Yeah.
It's amazing how good a DJ Jazzy Jeff is, man. Like, and you go back to the old school Gemini mixers, and when he had one, like And you think about like with some of these DJs, to your point, like Aladdin and the Jazzy Jeff era guys, and even before that, were able to accomplish with what little was provided at the time, technology wise. Like it's like what transforming, cutting, scratching, of course, but like oh.
There's so many great DJs and so many great influences that probably led all of us, and Jazzy Jeff is one. I see Cecil G put Julio G from K-Day. K-Day.
Yeah, nice call, Cecil.
Yeah,
nice, bro. Yep.
I mean the whole K-Day Mixmasters, like wow,
Yeah, because you were
Joe
down
Cooley.
here for that. Yeah, I was up in the
Joe
Bay.
Cooley, Battle Cat, Bobcat, Tony G, Julio G, amazing, just amazing DJs that before technology, so they really had to do the damn thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, what a time, man. Yeah, man, what a great era. Great DJs.
Yeah,
that stuff.
Yes, Sonny D, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate you coming in, great. Man.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy how
goes by so fast.
Yeah, man, because there's like so many stories that we didn't touch on, dude. Like, man,
right. This
has been a great experience, though, and I thank you for that. Thank you so much to everybody who's come in and supported and hit the chat, and much love.
Yeah, please, guys, make sure you follow Sonny D on Twitch and follow him on IG. Don't expect to follow back on IG though.
As we get older, Jay.Byrd, silence is golden, bro. I don't want people in my business, man.
Right. No, it's all good. But like I just have to throw in a shot. Throwing a little party shot,
Right. I don't even follow my wife, man. It's all.
No, good. It says followers are like 11,500, following 0.
Yeah. And I cleared it out, man.
Yeah.
I watch. I lurk on there like I lurk on Twitch.
That's what's up. It's all good, man. It's all good.
Yeah. But thank you for having me, Jay.Byrd. I appreciate you, man, sincerely, and I appreciate you making time for me to come on here and share a few war stories.
Oh no, yeah, no, I love it, man. Keep doing what you do. Keep doing what you do, man. And any shout outs you want to give your shout outs, man.
For me, number one, got to start with my fam, my little brother, Jay Rigo Music, also to Dizzy Danielle, my moderator, and then everybody that you roll cult, man. It's so great to see all of you guys on the platform all the time. And, a lot of you not only invigorate and motivate, but inspire as well. Special shout out to Margulis, who recently made partner, as we know. That's so awesome. Big up Rich, who I always see holding down other people's, streams as well too, like Ice and more. One and only B, who mods as well too, and lot of great people on here. Cecil G, who always pulls up on me. Pretty much everybody in the chat, man. Like Big Rob, salute to all of you guys, man, because it's all about the community and it's so much fun. And for me, it's just been such a blessing and a release to have it available to me as an outlet, not just as a streamer, but just even as a viewer, man. Like that's how I started. Like I was lurking in everybody's shit for years, like I even remember seeing you and our brother starting from scratch's streams during the pandemic early on, and that's how I got familiar with Jay.Byrd, was through starting from scratch. And yeah, man, it's just been such a blessing, dude. So salute to everybody who's even here right now for this, because it really means so much to so many of us, right? How many times, Jay.Byrd, do you meet somebody who comes in your stream and you see them on IG, or you look at their About Me profile on Twitch even, and it'll say something to the effect of, Twitch was there for me during the pandemic and more. It got me through, rebounding from cancer or from my divorce or from the loss of one of my kids. And, dude, it's just so impactful and so special, man. And so, again, for that reason, salute to everybody in here right now. Salute to all of you.
Yeah, much love. And just a little story. I'm going to Toronto in a couple weeks, and I'm going to meet somebody that I met through my Twitch community. He's flying me out to Toronto because he wants to host me in his city. So he's flying me out to Toronto. He's taking me to the Yankee Toronto Blue Jays game. We're having a party at his house. And we're going to stream the party So I'll have a live stream on Saturday, July 5th from Toronto. And I mean, these are just that's just like one of the stories of all the greatness that the people are on Twitch, you know what I'm saying? The niceness and new community and new friendships and lifetime friendships and working friendships, you know. Me and Ice, Manila Vanilla, like we work all the time together now, all the time.
I love that.
And it's just been a blessing. Yeah. Just so, yeah, you guys are all a blessing. I appreciate you. Thank you guys for being here. Sonny D, I can't thank you enough, man. It's great stories, bro. Great stories, man.
Thank you for having me, man. Thank you so much.
No doubt. All right, guys. I will see you tonight. I'll be on tonight. DJ jay.byrd, Yachty by nature, Yacht Rock, Soft Rock, you know, Blue-Eyed Soul, as Sonny D calls it. So we'll be on later. We're doing some shots. You know what I'm saying? I got, how much left?
There
Nothing.
you go.
Nothing.
Salute everyone. Thank you again, jay.byrd. Peace and respect to you, man. Love.